guys to everyone. I'm Ada from Peasant Rock, and I have really to say the honor to have with us one of the best voice in the rock, metal, whatever scene we want to call it, Sharon from Within Temptation. But Sharon, you are a
Hello, I'm
why
blushing.
ask you like how are you at the beginning, like first at things first.
I'm fine. Yes, it's a beautiful day today. They said it was going to rain. It actually is not raining. It's really beautiful outside. So, those days are precious because it's winter now. And so I'm having a really nice day. Although it's a lot of interviews, I had a lot of fun. A lot of nice people I spoke from Italy, especially today. It's Italy Day today.
Oh,
Only Italian interviews.
I mean, I'm in Sicily. Maybe a bit.
You're in Sicily. I'm sorry.
No, I mean it's almost Italy, but maybe it's
Okay.
first from Sicily, like a region.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, of course.
It's really a pleasure. I mean, of course, everyone knows, like within Temptation history, everything. And of course, we know that you are an amazing singer and a mezzo soprano. But I want to ask you how, I mean, because of course, it's always beautiful to get connected, with the artist and the musician as well. And this usually happen when as well how it was, like the background. How so when you start singing when you were a kid, I mean, how you found out this amazing talent, or if you ever was interested to play another instrument. I don't know.
Well, there were several moments in my life that I discovered. Well, first of all, I discovered music when I was a very young girl because I have a 6-year older brother and he got pocket money when he was 10. And when he was 10, I was 4 years old, but I was pretty wise. It happens when you have an older brother or older sister.
Yeah.
Maybe you can relate to that. And so I was pretty wise for a 4-year-old because I said, he's getting pocket money. He's buying all this stuff. And why don't I get any money? Why don't I get pocket money, Mom? And she said, well, you know what? You can have pocket money as well, but you can only spend it on music. So
I said that to you.
Yeah, she said that to me.
Oh,
and I was 4 years old, and we went to the record store every week because I was living in Indonesia, and at the time, of course, it was all illegal, printed. I didn't know. I was very innocent, so if I had known, of course, then I would have done it differently. But anyway, I went to the record stores and in Indonesia, and I could buy for a little bit of money. I could buy a lot of things. So I went home with stacks of cassettes every weekend. And my brother and my mother were telling me what to buy, and also had seen and heard certain things that I liked myself. And I discovered very early on, the different kind of music there was, because my mom was telling me to buy the Moody Blues. My brother said, you have to buy Wars of the World. And I wanted to buy Grease of Olivia Newton-John, the movie I just had seen. So I had a different kind of music in my surrounding me constantly. So that was the first a thing that I got in contact with music, actually. And that memory is very precious to me. And I got very soon afterwards, I got a record machine I could record music on.
Yeah, I remember those.
To record things, yeah.
Yeah, I remember.
And I had a small plug-in for a microphone, but also headphones already. So like I could put that all in. So I was singing along with old music and recording it, and in front of a mirror, like all the girls do when they're a certain age. And I just very early on, I started my first band in school. I was 11, I think.
11.
11.
Teenager, like a child.
Wow. I just wanted to sing.
That's beautiful. That's impressive. I mean, but it was like a rock band, or it was like something different, like more, I don't know, classical music. I mean, how was the Sharon first band?
Well, it was just like songs that we were allowed to play on school. Was if I had a hammer in the morning. This kind of typical songs of the what is it, 60s or something. I think it's Percy Sledge. I'm not sure if it's but if I had a hammer anyway. And those kind of simple songs we had to learn in school that we were allowed to play also in school, then for an audience of other students. And so that was my first performance ever, I guess. And then we had like these kind of school projects where you could say, I want to be like I want to sing to music that was recorded already, and then you could do your favorite song. And then we had contests like that in school. And I also, around that same time, I started something that was in music school, a course that was called How to Be in a Band. And that was really very interesting. It was way ahead of a lot of things that are there nowadays, because the only option I had in the beginning was going to music school and learn the flute, which I hated. So I said,
I'm going even in my school learned the flute. What the fuck?
Yeah.
What's wrong?
Yeah. I just want to sing. Come on, throw away the flute and just give me the chance to sing.
I remember, maybe it was middle school called like 10th grade, 11th grade. I don't know, like the flute. You got memorizing it. I remember.
Well, anyway, I started this course for how to be in a band, and I was 14 because I realized if I'm not going to do anything now, if I'm always going to be afraid to sing for other people or say what I like, then I will never reach what I want to reach in life, and that's sing for people. I just want to see how people react. And so I joined that course, and one person wanted to play the bass, another one wanted to play the guitar, and I said I wanted to play the keyboards because I was afraid to say that I wanted to sing, because people might think that you will just want to have the limelight, which is not true. I just wanted to sing because it makes me happy. And they said, okay, I'll do the keyboards. And then after 3 weeks, they said, we need someone who can sing, And I said, and nobody wanted to. I said, well, I'll try. And then and I was playing the keyboards with all these Post-its on my keyboard notes, because I didn't know put my hands, because I was completely not interested in playing keyboard. I just want to sing. So when they said, like, does anyone want to sing? I was like, yeah, of course I'll try, but then and then 2 weeks later they said, don't ever touch that keyboard again. You're horrible at the keyboards, but you can sing forever.
And that forever is true. I mean, it happens.
Yes.
And of course, like, because of your voice is not like it's not the voice that usually has let's say in rock band, like women from your voice is particular. So I want to ask you, of course, it's normal, like the training. I mean, how you train your voice for being a mezzo soprano?
Well, I was self-educated because, like I said, there was no schooling in an actual music school, because you had to start with flute, and I hated the flute. So I taught myself just by singing along to all kinds of music. I started with Janis Joplin. That was Janis Joplin, Olivia Newton-John. Olivia Newton-John was more into country music. Janis Joplin, of course, more bit bluesy kind of music. And then I discovered Mariah Carey, which is the Steve Vai on vocal cords, to my opinion. Because she did the craziest stuff. Not really loving the music, but it was more like, for me, it was like, I did think she is still an amazing vocalist that does, she's a musical virtuose on vocal cords, with vocal cords. It's for me like the Steve Vai among vocalists. And I learned a lot from that, practicing every day those letters that she was singing, and going higher, higher, higher. And my parents said, come on, Sharon, when do you get that note? And then I finally had it, yes, I got it. And then I just picked up.
And I mean,
and then I just trying to stretch my vocal cords like that, and then discovering at the same time, I because I was in this program called How to Be in a Band. Another group who was in the same kind of organization, and they said they formed a band, and they said, we want to form a band, but would you like to sing with us? They were like 5 years older, and I was 14 when I joined them, and they were into Queensryche, Iron Maiden, Steve Ray Vaughan, all kinds of music, and I didn't know what I heard was so amazing, so many cool bands, and they introduced me for the first time to heavier music in a way that I had never heard, because my parents, they listened all kinds of music, but that kind of was a different level again, I guess. Like Iron Maiden, they didn't listen to Iron Maiden, of course they knew it, but it was more like, they did know Deep Purple, which they loved, but being a bit older. So and that's how I got into music, and then I met Robert in school.
And then it's all the legend. I mean, it's legend how.
Yes, exactly.
I mean, it's like asking, because of course, it's the first time that we're doing the interview, but every time that I do, like a first interview, I always ask how the band started, but I can't do that with you because I think it's well known already how Within Temptation started with you and Robert. But I want to a little bit point about, because of course at the beginning, especially in the first, at the beginning of your career, there was the kind of duality of your voice and the voice of Robert, and then there was you getting whole the center. I mean, how, just as well to the fan know it, how was being inside of the band to take this decision? It was for you being at the center, so not having this duality with him as well. How did you feel? You feel that it was a little bit maybe, I don't know, you felt not scared, but like, oh my god, it's me on the stage, just myself singing now.
It was getting used to, but I think for us it was at the time a musical decision, because we felt okay. We tried it with the growling voice, but we got a bit tired of it. Like, okay, we've done that now, and now we're going. We saw also a lot of bands doing the same thing, and we felt like we want to progress.
Exactly.
Do something. Yeah, and we wanted to do something else, and then decided, okay, we're going to do an album without the growling voice, see how that works out. And we were actually pleased with it because it gave a different dimension, although a lot of people also were sorry to see it go. But I think there was a lot of other bands starting up, like After Forever and Epica, who did the same thing, and we felt like, okay, there's so many bands now doing the same duality between men and women. Felt like we wanted to do something different, and that's why we decided not to do it anymore. And I must say that with the new album, I really feel that duality is back again through the music, because there's more, like for instance, the guitars are so down-tuned, it's so dark compared to what my voice is doing. It feels like a duality again. But so it's coming back, to my opinion.
In a different way, this duality coming back. It's kind of like the guitar is playing like, it's so heavy that it's almost having like his own voice.
Yes, exactly, totally, yeah. And you have this light and darkness again. The darkness is really the very dark riffs, the very heaviness, and then you have my voice, which is more ethereal in a way in this album. Yeah,
you said it right. It's ethereal completely. Your voice is not natural.
I'm trying to be anyway.
But as well, like because before releasing of before Bleed Out, you had kind of, let's say, 3 albums that were like a little bit more different from the usual. So I mean, of course I don't want to take you on the journey of every single album of Within Temptation, because really we can sit here, have a coffee and sleep, or maybe have a dinner. But especially just putting a little bit of focus in the last 3 albums, Resist, Hydra and so on, which changed mainly from this album to Bleed Out, before focusing on Bleed Out as well.
Which has changed the most?
Yeah.
Compared to the first album, you mean? Or
No. Just speaking about this last album as well, because they were a little bit more experimental. But now Bleed Out, it's as well an important topic a lot. But I mean, technically, about the music, about the sound of it. What do you think is changed, if it's changed?
I think the last album has changed the most, to my opinion, because the fact that technology now allows us to go even lower with the guitars, which gives me more space to sing in a different way and with different melody lines. Because we're playing now with also the guitars are written now, played on 8-string guitars, which gives a different dimension, and also technology has changed in a way. Some of the guitar riffs were written on a keyboard with a guitar plug-in, and then we said to the guitar players, okay, good luck, boys. And then this is what we want, more or less. Make something out of it, and they made something out of it, and then came back to us. No, I can't play this because it's physically not possible, but what do you think about this? So they changed small things, and in the big line it's still the same, but it's more like now they can play it actually. So that's also nice, because on the keyboard it's of course different than playing on the guitars, where your hands are, you have to put them in a different way, of course.
And of course, like I was saying before to you, I mean, the album is already been out from the 20th of October. And of course, you previously released some single like Wireless, Bleed Out and Ritual. this is an important album because as well I read a little bit about the topic that it's really important. So I will let you explain to you like, so if we want to speak about the main topic behind Bleed Out, which is in
The
your...
main topic about Bleed Out, I think the whole album is there's one subject that comes back in most of the songs is freedom. It's a
Yeah,
cry for freedom, to my opinion, from different sides
both.
in different ways. So it can be the regime in Iran oppressing women and men of the new generation, but also freedom within religion, like don't pray for me, but also to having the right as an individual to make your own individual choices about abortion or all kinds of stuff, women's rights. All, you know, it's like I believe very much in the individual freedom of the freedom of the individual. That's for me
Yeah,
very, very important. I think, you know, it's very difficult to see people make laws and from religion out of their, you know, from their belief, which is also logical in a way. But if there's also living other people living in your country don't have the same belief or have a different view on that, are also restricted the same laws as everyone else. Like, and that's for me very difficult from the West, where we are very liberal in those ideas.
yeah,
And so it's for me very much going backwards into, you know, yeah, going backwards in time a little bit, because we have fought for our freedom already in the 60s to have those rights and to make our own choices. And so I find it very difficult to see that. So I wrote a song about that called Don't Pray For Me. And but there's also like the fight for freedom in the Ukraine, for instance, where Russia invaded a sovereign country that has, you know, that doesn't belong to them. They think it belongs because it was like years back once a part of the Soviet Union. They want to take it back. Yeah. But we decided after the Second World War that there were certain boundaries, certain, you know, borders, and we all agreed upon that. So I don't see, and I don't understand why they would cross those decisions now. Anyway, so those kind of things, yeah, so those kind of things, this all comes from freedom to live in a country, you know,
without escaping. Country can
yes,
be home.
yeah, it's
And
been forced upon you. Yeah, the regime of Iran forced upon those people, and the regime of Russia invading a country that is not theirs is also forced upon the Ukrainian people. And it's their fight for freedom, you know. It's their fight. They don't want war, but it's forced upon them.
Yeah, in a kind of way as well, it's a kind of, you know, putting a lot of pressure in people from Russia that don't want that. So they are kind of going against their will as well to fight something that they don't want. So it's a fight without, because every war has no winner.
No, exactly. Yeah, exactly. You only lose people. It's like, yeah. And unfortunately, you know, the defense of Ukraine is not that big because it's a small country compared to Russia. Russia is a superpower. Because a lot of people ask me also, why do you care so much about the Ukraine is compared to other wars happening at the same time? Well, it's because Russia is a superpower. It's really like it's such a big nation. It's you can't compare that to the Ukraine, which is very small.
You can compare
so
to the US.
Russia can go on with their war forever if they want to, because there's so many people to keep on continuing that war. They don't care about their people even, because there's so many casualties compared to the Ukraine, where they're very aware of the fact that they don't have that many people, and they're very trying to protect their own people. You know, yeah, and it's such a different way of looking at human life also, in many ways.
I remember that reminds me. Then when I did an interview a couple of weeks ago with an Ukrainian band called Star Crystal with an amazing singer woman. There were these three guys. You know, I was told there were different places. I don't know where they were, but when I asked to them, "How are you?" You know, it was like in the meaning, like I asked to you, like, "How are you?" "I'm good. I'm just, I don't know."
Yeah, no, of course. Yeah.
This guy answered immediately. I think he was the bass player. "We are safe, thanks." That was like a hit. I felt okay. Like I didn't expect that. And
no, exactly. You didn't think about that kind of answer. You didn't. Yeah, I can
No,
imagine that.
no. Yeah, because I was like having an interview like I'm having with you, but then you can sense, and no matter if they were under the war, they were speaking and spreading the word of freedom, keeping peace, and that's what I like, that see these young, really young guys standing one next to each other. They look almost they were, like in a front line to go to war, but you see their face were tired.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
And they
yeah.
were there smiling, having a little bit of fun, doing some musical interview, and their answer they gave me was really like, it wasn't the answer that was expected, but thanks, I'm glad to know that you're safe. They were
Yeah.
really cute and nice, and that's the best of it. And when even though that no matter the war, despite the war, they were doing 2 metal days to do some shows. It's beautiful.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
why I was happy
And
about
their
them.
government also, I also know from what I read about other bands is that the government gave permission to certain bands to go and do their thing to
Yeah,
spread the word of the Ukraine in
yeah,
this way instead of going to war and be in the army, because they got the chance to do it in a different way to
yeah,
promote their
exactly.
country. And
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah, that's
yeah,
important because, like, at the same time, there is people like that. There are bands like in Russia, there are in Siberia. They are blocked in their
yeah,
country. They have maybe relatives in Ukraine, and they can't. They lost a lot of opportunity for playing abroad because
yeah,
Russia closed them. So you have this other band blocked in Siberia and say we are not what all with all what's going on in the world. We just were making
no,
folk, Pacific northern music, play our really flute. That's it.
oh my God, yeah, oh my
Yeah.
God, yeah,
So when you listen to
terrible.
these things, you listen that actually sometimes we are not really aware of what's going on in all over the world. Sometimes we just have a position, with our mind, oh, that's right, that's far, that's wrong. But that's not right or wrong. Like with Israel, that's not right or wrong. That's just only have just peace and, like you said, freedom
Yeah,
of we as well for women. How many fights like the Iran as well that what happened? I mean, that's all the women standing of those women being killed, murdered, but as well native people from United States, in Canada. How many
yeah,
women
totally.
are disappearing there? That's that's I think bleed out. It can be really good, a huge call for opening the eyes, like
Yeah,
someone for saying, people, let's open the eyes. Like,
yeah.
yeah,
Let's talk. But especially let's talk, because we are living in a democracy where a lot of
yeah,
people, a lot of women, a lot of men are not allowed to talk about the subjects that we are talking about today,
yeah,
and we are allowed to talk about. So let's talk. What kind of world do we want to live in? And
yeah,
yeah, it's a big question, because I also believe that everything's connected, because whatever is decided in America, for instance, it has an influence in Europe and
yeah,
Asia and everywhere. So it depends on
exactly.
what kind of president is going to be there in the
Yeah,
future. What is he going to
yeah,
support? Well, everything's connected to each other. So we are not
exactly.
alone in this world. Yeah, I think Disney said the best slogan ever. It's a small world after all, and I keep small world after all. I don't know if you remember that of the days when you were a child, but that was one of the things that they said at Walt Disney always, like behind Donald Duck, or if we were watching something, Mickey Mouse, I don't know. And they say, it's a small world after all, was a song that was always played.
Playing, yeah,
And but it's true. It's a small
yeah.
world after all. In a way, everything's connected. We think
Like,
it's such a big world, but it becomes so much smaller in a way,
that's,
because
yeah,
nowadays we know what's happening in Gaza and Israel, which when there was no internet, we hardly knew.
yeah.
Only the newspapers, but then it came like weeks later or a week later or something
Yeah,
before.
like, yeah, and even 15 years ago, there was just like the news on the TV, so we had just kind of one perspective, not
Yeah, exactly. Also, yeah, totally.
yeah.
Yeah,
And about I mean, since without such a huge, let's say, I don't want to say manifesto, but a huge call for opening our eyes and ears, especially. And there is all the album, of course, because I think it's as well tough. It was a really maybe deep and tough work to do this, writing all these lyrics. But there is maybe one or two couple of songs that you really felt connected writing and singing. That really, like you said, you felt like you feel this sensation of warmth when you're singing them. If there are, in your opinion? Of course, you can say all the album as well, but it's just something like some song that maybe you want as well put the attention to the people to listen more.
Well, I got 3 songs that
Okay.
there's 3 songs that I connected with because of the lyrics.
Okay.
And that's Go to War, Wireless, and Bleed Out, because of those the topics, but also because it represents so many different points of view. You know, like Go to War is really like the war was forced upon the Ukrainians, and they go to war not because they want war or promote war, nothing like that. It's more like sometimes you have to fight for freedom. Freedom is a fragile kind of concept.
Something we should have.
Yeah, and you have to keep on defending that, because although we're living in freedom now, that can change very quickly, as you can see in the Ukraine, for instance.
As well, we spoke a little bit. I mean, this album is beautiful. Your voice is stunning. It always been. And as well, something beautiful about Within Temptation are the video clips, the music videos. I think you have a lot of fun filming them since years.
Yeah, we did.
You're already an actress. Have you thought to be to acting?
No, I'm not an actress at all. I wish I was.
But I will ask you.
That would have taken less time.
Ask you just a question that let's say that my co-writer, he wrote the question, to be honest. He is really, like I was saying to you, Isa and his girlfriend, Daniela, they are really in love with your music. Literally, I'm not kidding. He told me that you have a passion for country music. Is this true?
Country music?
Yeah.
Well, I like Dolly Parton, and I do like Olivia Newton-John, which was one of my main sources to start singing, actually.
Okay, so that was because I didn't know if to put it in the question, because I wasn't sure, but I was like, let's ask, let's see, because it really interests in you as a singer. That's why I wanted to ask you. And talking about as well, Guy going to some lives, do you are planning to, there will be a touring tour for promoting this album? They're planning something for 2024 as a tour. What can you say, of course?
Well, we're starting off this day, because it's the last promotional day that we have, more or less. We're going to start with planning when we're going to start thinking about what we want to have on tour next year.
Okay.
So what kind of stage do you want to have? What kind of set lists? Okay. Are we going to change some things musically? Maybe write some new stuff again in the meantime? All those kind of things we're going to think of
in this
next week.
So
I don't know yet.
So let's say there will be some announcement before the end of the year.
Yeah, maybe we're going to do something. But anyway, and we can talk about this next time, probably, when we might meet up again.
I hope so.
There will be,
I would love to.
We will have more ideas about what we're going to do, but it's going to be something spectacular. You know, we like spectacular shows, and we've done so with the Worlds Collide tour. So hopefully we can do something spectacular again with the next one.
For sure. I think that all of your fans that came to your live show, they never have been disappointed from your performance. Come on, Sharon, you're like really. I
hope so.
But I'm saying that honestly, being all this type of, because there are different women in metal, from epic, everything. But I think your personality is what makes you different from a lot of as well singer. You are you are humble. You are not eclectic. Even if you were eclectic, but you have this humble and genuine. And I'm talking to you, that's confirming even more. And
thank you very much.
Yeah, because it's beautiful and it's important, because when you sing, it's just, and I think it's important as well. If someone maybe is not in too much, I don't know, your music or other music, but when you talk with a musician, you change your mind a lot. I notice. I never listened, for example, to death metal in my life. I just had an interview with an amazing this amazing man, Jeff Becerra, and I fell in love with his music because I felt, it did a lot. So that's why I always promote the people to listen to the interview, because you get to know better the musician and as well understand what's behind the video.
Behind the idea, that's a smart. I do agree with you that you do get a bigger picture of what the band is about, of course. Yeah, totally.
Yeah, okay, so we basically said that right now there will be some planning for the tour, and people can enjoy Bleed Out because it's out, I think, in all the platform, but as well digital copy as well, I guess.
Yes, it is. Yeah, everything's out there already.
So we can go order, buy it, eat it,
Yeah,
whatever we want
stream
to
it,
do.
whatever you like,
I
it's
like
out
it,
there.
stream it, but always use it for freedom. That's the main topic. Use it in a good way. Spread it. It could be, like with a megaphone on the street and say, "We freedom." Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
I want to really say thank you, Sharon. It was really an honor and
Likewise.
really nice to meet you. And of course, looking forward for a further interview, but mainly, especially to meet you in person someday soon. It would be amazing. And thank you for your idea, for your opinion, and put it out there, because I know it's not easy to to speak your truth and stand for your freedom. It's not easy. So thank you. Do it.
Thank you very much for having me here on Poisonous Rock. Really loved it. Good questions.
Thank you.
So hope to see you next time.
Yeah, me too. A huge hug, Sharon, and I wish you the best for this day, to you and Robert and all your family. And enjoy just this.
Thank you.
Little day, little day.
I can't let you go. You're my